Hi, my name is Sarath, and today we will try to discuss how to automate and run Selenium test cases using an IDE. Right. So I believe this is your project bonus part, and in case you do and execute and show it, you will get an extra credit. I believe your project due date has already crossed, but you still have a week to show a demo. So in case if any one of you are interested to give the demo and get the bonus part of it, this video should be helpful to you all. Okay, so in order to achieve this agenda, what we need is we need an IDE. Essentially we're going to use Eclipse. Eclipse is an IDE for Java, and we need a few of the external jar files, right? And also we need test cases from Selenium, right? So these are the three things we needed, and the process which I'm going to demo you is one of the easiest process. You don't need to download any additional plugins, no need of installing any additional dependencies, Maven, and so on. This is a very simple process. So let's get started. Again, what I will do is I will go ahead and I will give you these instructions. These instructions will help you in getting your job done. And also in these instructions I have mentioned the links, right? These are the links where you're required to download the additional jar files that are required for the execution. So I will post these instructions for you. So let's start. So I'm gonna start the Eclipse IDE right now. So let me go here and start the Eclipse IDE, right? So whenever you start the Eclipse IDE, it will ask you to create a workspace, or in case you have an old workspace, you can use one. So since this is my project, so what I will do is I will create a workspace with the name project. For those who already know Java and Eclipse, this is pretty simple task for you, but for those who don't, right, I will explain you in a very simple terms. So for now, understand this is an Eclipse IDE, and let me minimize this. Let me go ahead and launch the Mozilla Firefox, right? So whenever I launch the Mozilla Firefox, I have the Selenium IDE popping up on the left side of the screen. So in case you can't find it or you can't see it for some reason, right, all you need to do is just do a Control Shift and S, and the Selenium window should pop up. If it doesn't pop up, which means you don't have the WebDriver installed. Okay, so make sure this is in the recording mode. So what I will do is I will just create a very simple test case. So I will go to Google here and I will search for a keyword. So let me search for Selenium, right? And whenever you search for something on Google, right, it shows an automatic results or auto pop-up results will be coming on, but you don't want to click on any of these. Instead you click on the search button here, right? And then these are my search results, and I want to verify that the search results has at least one of my search keyword, which is Selenium. So to do so, I will select the search result and I will just say maybe I will do a assert title. So this is the command that shows up, but in case you want to try some other commands, right, just go show all commands and just select whatever you like. But for now I will use, instead of verified title, right, I will change it a little bit and I will do a verified text present. And the text I'm trying to search for is this text I'm trying to search for is the Selenium. That's my keyword. So this is pretty much done. This is my test case. So this, I'm just trying to make sure I have the correct URL. So this is google.com and this is my search keyword, and I'm just asserting. Let me go ahead and just simply quickly run this test case and see if it goes smoothly, right? So I believe, right, my test case is fine. Just execute it, it's okay, right? So I will save this test case. So let me save this test case. So maybe I want to say a test case 1, right? So whenever you save the test case, it is actually saving on HTML format, as you can see here. Okay, So let's go back, and in order to run your test cases, the Selenium test cases using an Eclipse IDE, you need to export these test cases into JUnit format, which is nothing but the Java unit test cases or the command which are equivalent to these Selenium commands which you just executed. So in order to do so, I will just go on file, I will say export test case as, and then I will use Java JUnit 4 remote control. Right, the reason why I'm selecting this one is because JUnit is nothing but Java compatible unit test code which runs on any Java IDE, and we actually have a Selenium web server, or you can say maybe a Selenium remote control web server, which actually controls the execution of the test cases on your web browser when you run it through the IDE. So since we already have the Selenium web remote control, so what we do is we select this one, and maybe you just give a name. So maybe I want to say my test case. Okay, this should be okay, my test case. And remember, the difference is when you create the test case, when you simply save the test case, it is saving on HTML format, right? And when you save the test case as JUnit 4 Java or JUnit 4 compatible version, it is actually saving the file in the Java format. You can actually open the file and see there are Java instructions here, right? So this is the code that you need to work on. So let's go back, go to the Eclipse. For those who already worked on Eclipse or Java before, this is nothing, but for those who did not, you simply go click on file, new, and then create a new Java project. So I will say a project name, any name that which is relevant. So I just say project name and I say finish. Let me open my package explorer here, and I see my project is created. Under source, I need to create a new package, right? Essentially a project has a package, and a package is a collection of classes and interfaces. Okay, so let me go here and say package. Right, so in the package I want to say name as my test case and say finish, right? And I will say new class. Package is nothing but collection of classes, so I will create a project and then package and then a class. So my class name I want to give is, right, maybe I want to say test case automation, right? Test case automation. Let me click on finish. This should open up my the actual code. Maybe we can close these. Okay, so let me go back here and open the test case that I just created. This is the JUnit version of the Selenium commands, so just copy the entire code, as simple as that. So just go ahead and paste it. There are a few changes that we are required to do. So the package name is my test case here, so I simply say my test case. Okay, and the second point is whatever is the name of the public class, that should be the name of the program. Otherwise the program is saved as test case automation, so instead of this one I have to specify test case automation. Right, that's it. You see a lot of errors coming up here. This is because the Java IDE doesn't recognize any of these JUnit packages, or it doesn't recognize the Selenium commands. Right, to get this issue sorted out, we need to add the external jar files. Again, the instructions which I'm going to post on the portal, these instructions will have two links, essentially two links. Go to these links and download the required external jar files. Okay, so I already have downloaded those two jar files. This is first jar file is the Selenium server standalone jar file, and the second jar file is to support the JUnit commands. Right, so let's go ahead, let's go back here, and we need to add the external jar files. To do so, just give a right click on project, on your project, and say properties, project properties, and then say Java build path, right? And here go click on libraries and then say add external jars. These are the two jar files that we need. One is your JUnit jar file, which will help the IDE to recognize the IDE to recognize the JUnit packages that we imported, and also any JUnit commands that we had in the program, right? And also Selenium. This is another jar file. Selenium server standalone is another jar file that will make the IDE to recognize the Selenium commands. There are a few of Selenium commands in your program which we will try to understand in a few moments. So for now, so just go ahead and just import these two and say OK. As soon as you do this, just do a save and you should see half of the errors are going back, right? And there's another error here, as we can see. Oh, automation, right? Okay. So these static imports are usually supported with version 1.5. In case your JRE version that you're running on IDE is not 1.5, then you might see this. In case you have this error, just place your mouse over it on the statement, and you should see a pop-up coming on, and just click the select project or change project compliance and JRE to 1.5. So just click this and that should go away. So that's it. The test case is pretty much ready. So these are the Selenium test case. These are the Selenium commands. Selenium is a predefined class, and that class is there in the package from the external jar that we added. So that's why now the IDE is able to recognize all these commands. And the IDE also, this IDE tries to communicate with the Mozilla Firefox on a port 4444, which is a predefined port, and on the local host. Of course, you're running locally, so local host, the port number is 4444, right? So these are the simple Selenium commands which we can understand by looking at them. So let me minimize this. So for now this is done. So let me save one more time. I'm doing Control S, or just go and just save, because I already saved it, so it's grayed out. So that's fine. So let me minimize this, and let me minimize this too, right? And let me open the command prompt, right? So remember when we have initially started, I explained you we need Eclipse IDE, we need jar files and test cases. We have all the three now, and the other one is we need to start the Selenium remote control web server, which is nothing but that's a web server. Start the web server. The web server will take the commands from the Eclipse IDE, converts those commands and executes the commands on your Mozilla Firefox. So which is nothing but you simply run the program on Eclipse, you see the output on the browser. So the communication between the IDE and the browser is achieved by the Selenium RC web server, or remote control web server. To start this web server, right, simply go to the directory where you initially saved the jar files. So I saved both the jar files on my desktop, so I will just move to desktop, right? So this is my Selenium server standalone, the jar file, the same jar file which we added on the project. So let me just drag and drop this one. So let me take this part off, and to start the Selenium web server, right, you need to execute the jar file. To execute any Java jar file, all you need to do is Java space jar followed by the jar file name, and that should do it. Just do an enter key and wait for a few seconds until it finishes launching all the the server, and once everything is up, okay, we should be good to go. So right, okay, so I think we should be okay. So let's minimize this and go back to the Eclipse IDE. And to run this test case doesn't have a main method, so you cannot just run this as a simple or a regular Java application. Instead, you need to run this as a JUnit format. So just say run as and then select JUnit test. Now just wait for the result. It will take a few moments when you try to launch it. Oh, I think it's okay, so it's my mistake. Let me close this. So let me run this, run as J test case unit. So you should see the Mozilla Firefox popping up somewhere here. Okay, you see it right now. So it started executing the Selenium commands, but that was so quick. But that you were not even able to identify that there's something popping up on the screen. So instead, you want to slow down. If you want to slow down the execution, simply use Selenium dot. I believe that's set speed. Yeah, set speed. So maybe I will take a speed of let's say 1500. Okay, so this one is taking a string arguments as it shows here, so you need to pass in double quotes. Let me save this one more time and go back here and give a right click and run as JUnit test case. Okay, so I already have a pop-up coming on here. Okay, so that's it for now. So what happens is when you run the code from IDE, the Selenium web server is communicating between the IDE and with the web browser on port 4444, and it's simply translating these this JUnit program into the instructions, and it is running on the web browser. So that's it, you're done with your task, and it's pretty much the same no matter you use a single test case or you use a test suite or a collection of test cases. The process you follow is still the same. And just to give you all a demo, I was just using a simple test case, but the test cases which you're actually required to do are mentioned in the project specifications. So follow these specifications and create the test cases, export them into JUnit format, add the external jar files, launch the Selenium web server, and just see the output on the Mozilla. So that's it for now. I hope this video is very helpful to you all, and in case you have any questions or comments, you're welcome. You can just leave your comments below. Thank you, and thanks for listening.